Hello and welcome to another episode of Relationship Alive. This is your host, Neil Sattin. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I have a few things to share with you about how to use creativity as a way to help move through emotions. And it's something that's really served me well in the past and continues to serve me well, as you'll see momentarily, because after we talk about this topic, I am going to share a song with you, a song that just emerged this past week. So before we dive in to the topic at hand, however, I just want to let you know first how much I appreciate your being here with me to talk about relationships and what we have to do within ourselves and within relationship to be the best we can be and to keep improving the best we can be at any given moment. And if you have found the show to be helpful, please consider a donation to help support the mission of Relationship Alive. Every little bit counts, and you can choose whatever feels right for you. So to make a contribution, just visit neilsattin.com/support, or you can text the word support to the number 33444 and follow the instructions. And this week, I'd like to thank Anne-Marie, Danielle, Drew, Lydia, Anne, Valerie, Kirti, Jules, David, Kim, Cynthia, and Carol. Thank you all so much for your generous and, in many cases, ongoing support of Relationship Alive. Also, I do have a free guide to help you with improving the communication in your relationship. To download the free guide to my top 3 relationship communication secrets, just visit neilsattin.com/relate. And you can also text the word relate to the number 33444 and follow the instructions to get that free guide. These are 3 things that you can put into practice in almost any communication, any conversation that will help you stay connected, no matter how challenging the topic is that you're trying to talk about. And if you are interested in even more help with communication, you can grab my Secrets of Relationship Communication course, which is 3.5 hours of bite-sized chunks to help you improve your communication. And they are all focused on things that you alone can do in your relationship. So they don't require your partner to do anything. Of course, if your partner takes the course as well, that's great. But it's all the leverage points that you have to create positive change in the way that communication and understanding and intimacy and conflict, the way that all those things unfold in your relationship. To grab the course, just visit neilsattin.com/course. And lastly, just a reminder that we have a free group on Facebook, the Relationship Alive community, where you can join other people who listen to the show to create a safe space to talk about relationships. And if you have any questions or feedback for the show, then you can send those to questions@relationshipalive.com. And I may use your question to create another episode of Relationship Alive. Okay, so let's dive into the topic at hand, which is creativity and giving yourself permission to have a voice and to use your voice in ways that can help mobilize especially challenging emotions and bring them to the surface, express them in ways that are productive, and maybe even move on or transmute those emotions along the way. Now, the emotional content of our lives can sometimes be quite raw. And whether it's something that we ultimately want to address with another person or not, it can be helpful to spend some time with the content in order to get a different look at it, get a different perspective, allow it to move within you and also to give you more information. I believe that our emotions are there as signals to help us understand how we are processing the world around us. And so they live in us, but they're not meant to just be stuck there. And sometimes when an emotion is just there over and over and over and over again, it's there because it requires something of us. Maybe it requires a change in our lives, or maybe it's just a voice in you that needs to be heard. Now, I'll tell you that over the years, creative expression for me has been a huge way to help me deal with the things that are going on in my life. And sometimes those things are happy, joyous things. And I want to find ways to celebrate even more. And sometimes those things have been painful and hard to understand. And being creative has given me the opportunity to work with those feelings, to understand some of the deeper things that are going on within me that are at play, some of the different thoughts, the different inner voices that are speaking, and giving yourself the opportunity to do that can be an immensely freeing and transformative thing. And there are any number of ways to do that. You can create something that's just for you. You can create something that you share with people who you trust and who care about you. You can create something and share it with the world. Or you can create something and burn it or forget about it, because the act of creation in and of itself is alchemy. It allows you to work with what you're experiencing and in a way to move it outside of you. You can do it in the shape of a sculpture or a drawing or writing on the page, which could be prose or a poem or just random words or scribbles. I also like to write music, and it could be just music, just notes, like sitting at a piano and just letting the things flow from you, or it could come out with more structure, like a song. And for me, all of these things I've named are things that I've experimented with and continue to experiment with. I really like journaling, for one thing, as a way to regularly just check in internally. But on top of that, we've talked a lot here about learning to listen to your inner voice, to tune in to your inner guidance system. And sometimes when you're listening to that voice, it may ask you to do something that seems a little weird. Like, for instance, picking up a blank piece of paper and some crayons and scribbling, or like spending time taking photographs of nature or of the chaos that surrounds you, or whatever it is. As you tune in and as you hear that voice speaking, the more that you follow through on actually doing those things, this is what I've found to be true, actually, then the more that those things flow. And likewise, I've gone through periods where I don't listen to the voice, or where I'm afraid that, I hear you, that there's like a song that wants to be written or something like that, but I'm afraid that it's not going to be good enough, or that it will sound stupid or look stupid. Like if I'm doing a drawing, that it's not going to look good. And that's another interesting place to discover within ourselves, right? The critic that needs things to be perfect or just so. And I ask you, if you were to do something just for the sake of doing it and no one else was ever going to see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, listen to it, whatever it is, what does it matter if it's not good enough? It doesn't really matter at all. And on the flip side, where it does matter, where it's huge, is that the voices within you that want to be expressed, honoring those voices in ways that are safe for you and safe for the people around you, helps you develop an inner integrity, where you're not in conflict with your inner world, where you're actually learning to collaborate with your inner world, because there are parts within you that want to create. There are parts within you that want to organize. There are parts within you that want to stay quiet and observe. There are parts within you that want to just exuberantly dance in joy or sorrow, and etc. There's, as we've talked about on the show, there's a whole multiplicity. There are worlds within us of aspects of ourselves that are there as resources for us when they're not in conflict with each other, or when we're not in conflict with them. So I suggest creativity as a way for you to safely give a voice to particularly the challenging emotions: anger and fear and hurt, or despair or hopelessness or sadness, pain. See what comes to you as a way to give an outlet to those emotions that are living within you, and then see what happens when it's not necessarily trapped inside of you. And I invite you to experiment with different forms of creativity. Perhaps if you think back to your childhood, assuming you are not a child right now, in which case you don't have far back to go, but think back to your childhood and think about the things that gave you joy, the things that you loved doing. Think back to the simple things that gave you joy back then. And maybe it was coloring or painting, or finger painting is something I've done as an adult. It's been super fun. It's messy. It feels good in my fingers. Another thing that I've done has been exploring using beeswax, like modeling beeswax, and just creating, I love to create like little sculptures of animals and things like that, just as an example. But think back on things, and if you don't have anything, then now's a perfect time as an adult to just experiment. To draw, all you need is some paper and a pen or a pencil. You don't have to go to the art supply store and get the best whatever, although, that can be fun to do too, to treat yourself. But you don't have to do that. You can work with what is around you. If you have a smartphone, then you have a camera. You also have a way to record yourself. And I'm just hoping that you get a sense of all the possibility that lies before you. And just try and see what happens. In fact, if you try and you do feel like sharing and you don't have anyone in your life that you want to share with, then share it with me. Send it to, here's my personal email address, Neilius, Neilius @neilsattin.com. Send me a picture, send me what you wrote, send me a recording, send me a recipe if you like to create in the kitchen, as long as it's tasty. And I'm curious to see what you come up with and where it comes from. Occasionally in the Relationship Alive community on Facebook, people have shared drawings and things like that they've created, which has been amazing. And I want to share with you this song that I wrote. And it was, again, it was following on last week's episode where I was talking about grief and breaking up and the time that it takes to process that stuff. And 2 or 3 days ago, I woke up and I just had this idea, this little melody in my head, and the word everyone. Everyone. That's all I had. And it had been a while, months actually, since I had heard an impulse like that and allowed myself to go sit with a guitar. Because to be honest with you, I have some of that fear of it not being good enough, or I'm going to sit with a guitar and just get stuck. And sometimes sitting there and trying to be creative, and feeling a block around it, that's no fun either. So, for whatever reason on Tuesday, I heard it loud and clear, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and do it this time. And, the song that you are about to hear is the result of that. And I'm presenting it to you. I have like I tried a little background harmony that I was hearing in my head, and so there's a little bit on this, but this is a demo. This is not meant to be perfect. But I wanted you to hear the song. And it comes from a deep personal place within me that's reflecting on the way that the way that things change over time. And in particular, the ways that in a relationship we can go from things feeling perfect and looking perfect, when there's all this stuff that's potentially happening beneath the surface or around the edges that's shifting and changing us, until the whole landscape looks completely different. So that's what this song is about. And I'm really looking forward. I hope that you're feeling inspired and that you are willing to give an outlet to the voice within you that wants to speak and be heard. And I really hope that you share something with me. Neilius@neilsattin.com. All right, without further ado, my song is called Everyone Knows Time, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care. Oh, actually, one last thing before we dive into the song. I do need to mention this week's sponsor. And if you are looking for some extra support, particularly around taking a creative leap or giving a voice to those parts within you that need to speak, then one way that you can do that you can get that support from the comfort of your own home or your office, or actually anywhere you are, is BetterHelp. And BetterHelp has been such a helpful supporter of Relationship Alive for quite some time now. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can chat with them via text at any time, and you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without having to go anywhere. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available for those who qualify. They also offer a broad range of expertise so that you can find the person most suited to helping you with your own unique situation. And so many people are using BetterHelp at the moment that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. So whatever you're going through, whether it's depression, stress, anxiety, your relationship, trauma, anger, or simply trying to capture that creative voice and maybe trying to overcome your inner critic that's getting in the way, whatever's up for you, try out BetterHelp to help you move past the places where you're stuck. To start living a happier life today, you can try BetterHelp, and you can get an extra 10% off your first month as a Relationship Alive listener. Just visit betterhelp.com/alive and join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/alive. And thanks again, BetterHelp, for your support of Relationship Alive. And thank you for your patience, because now we're going to dive into the song that I'm so looking forward to sharing with you. Okay, take care, and I hope you're doing well. I found a photograph, a moment that we made. a story that was larger than the frame. So not what we became, but then and there we were laughing, and wishing it were lasting, but everyone knows, everyone knows time goes on. I know you did your best, and baby, so did I. We passed the test and landed side by side. It's obvious we tried. Our days were full of trying, but babe, a part of me was dying, and everyone knows, everyone knows time goes on. Now nothing looks the way I thought that it would be. A future so impossible to see. Subtracting you from me, and all that it's revealing. The mystery of healing. 'Cause healing takes time, and everyone knows, everyone knows time.